Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad salawatullah alayhi wa salamuhu wa ala ahlihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, my dear children and youngsters, youth of the North America, English speaking, born here or raised here, all of you, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we are going to learn how to perform Umrah nowadays. كيفية الأداء العمرة في هذه الأيام. So as we know that we are Muslim, most of us we are Muslim by birth or by the lineage of the family. Very few youngsters may be converted into Islam. I don't know the statistics, but in Islam, we should know that there are 5 pillars. Number one, Shahada, which is La ilaha illallah and Muhammadur Rasulullah. And this is the declaration and is the preamble of faith. Meaning is we say it and we understand its meaning and we believe it, and we say this declaration in Arabic language. Then the second pillar of Islam is 5 times prayer. Then the third pillar of Islam is zakat, which is the person who earn money, and at the end of the lunar year, we are giving 2.5% of the total, the value of the wealth, the dollar, cash money, and also including the gold and other savings. Then once in a year, like a month, which is month of Ramadan, is coming very soon, and we fast either 29 days or 30 days. And the last pillar is the al-Hajj, that we go to for Hajj to perform once in our lifetime. So those are the 5 pillars. So today we are going to learn an Umrah. So where it is. So the basically, if you notice that the 5th pillar, which is Hajj, it has Umrah inside of this Hajj. So an Umrah is a worship of Allah, for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Anytime a person can make Umrah. But when we perform this Umrah during the month of Hajj, then it will become a part of Hajj. So the Umrah is an ibadah, a worship, which can be performed any time in a year technically, but when we do it on the months of Hajj, then it becomes a part of Hajj. Then we don't say Umrah Hajj, we don't say, we say Al-Hajj. So this Hajj, we call it Hajj Tamattu'. Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala says in the Quran, فَمَنْ تَمَتَّعَ بِالْعُمْرَةِ إِلَى الْحَجِّ. অর্থাৎ a person in the month of Hajj who make Umrah, then he will be doing the Hajj. So both become a part of one ibadat, which is called Al-Hajj. So once again, that the Hajj and Umrah, two separate worship. But during the time of Hajj, we perform one Umrah and it is part of Hajj. So we are not supposed to say that we are going to do Umrah Hajj. This is a very misconception, linguistically incorrect, and with the creed of our belief, we cannot say, because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed in His book, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. অর্থাৎ Hajj, one worship, and Umrah is another worship. And relationship between Hajj and Umrah we already discussed. Uh, the person who does Hajj we call Hajj, al-Hajj, and person who does Umrah we call Mu'tamir. My dear youngsters, today during the lecture we are talking about some terms which is in Arabic language. Some terminology it may be you feel uncomfortable because the language is Arabic, but if you can take a note and you study and try to understand, then you will be more comfortable with the terms. The main purpose to describe the term in Arabic because it remains and one word has a interpretation how to perform. So our main goal is to understand how to do it, how we should do, how we should say, how we should move, how we should feel, how we should intend. That's the thing. Try to understand. Please do not bother yourself with the terms. Focus what to do and what not to do. So, where we go for Umrah? In the whole world, there is a country named Saudi Arabia. That country is located in Middle East, and we are living in North America, United States, or Canada, or Western world. For Europe or Australia, all kids or youngsters or uh, the people who live there, Muslims, they travel all the way from North America to Saudi Arabia. Where are we going for Umrah? It is clear for you. So we came all the way from the other side of the globe to fly somehow to that city named Mecca. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, we go back to the origin. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He created the earth and the world we are living with and these seven heaven. These heaven are not the sky. Actually, nobody knows how the heaven is built up. The material used in heaven is unknown for us, but heaven is a structure above the world. So, our world, the earth, and his lunar system and solar system, the the moon, the sun, the stars, the galaxy, the black hole, and all the mysterious space contents are below first heaven. Below first heaven. So it is heaven is not a sky. So heaven is a structure made by Allah Ta'ala and it has number like a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven. And so this is the arrangement Allah Ta'ala did. So paradise is not heaven. This commonly believe that the paradise is heaven are not synonymous. It's apple and orange. Actually, the location of paradise is above seventh heaven. Then we need to know that each heaven above the world has one house of worship for its inhabitants. So who lives in the heaven? Mainly the angels, the honorable angels. Al-Malaikatu al-Kiram. Malaikatul Kiram, they live there in the heavens and they worship Allah Ta'ala circling that house. So one house. So direction of their worship when they pray Salah, they go to the house inside or make facing to that house. So each heaven has the house. So that's the bottom line. So those houses are built by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, but the house one we concern with, which is in the world, and is located in the city Mecca in the world. And the relationship is that each heaven has one house of worship. So, like a seventh house, seventh heaven, there is a house, then the first heaven, then the world. So, we are focusing three specific house which has particular name. So, first name is Baitul Ma'mur. Now, Baitul Ma'mur located seventh heaven, and in that house, the angels they also make tawaf, like the one we do in the world in the Mecca. That when we do Umrah or Hajj, we circumambulate that house the similar way, like not exactly, but the way they did it, they are doing, still doing, and we are doing too. So this is the seventh heaven house, Baitul Ma'mur. The first heaven, the house is Baitul Izzah. This is the another house of first heaven. We know its name, and then the house built by Ibrahim alayhi salam to the world, which is called Kaaba. So the Kaaba is a, um, a house which shape is like a cubic, and it covered by black cloth with decorated by golden sentences, pretty much. So we do the Umrah circling the Kaaba. So that's the relationship. So basically, the Baitul Ma'mur, Baitul Izzah, and Kaaba, those are parallel, and the houses according to heaven and the world. And that's the direction we pray our salah, and it goes to Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala. Umrah, what it consists of. So, Umrah, what it consists of, this is very important to know. So, this is very, very important. So, first is Ihram. So, Ihram, it is a term which is we assume mentally, like some intention that makes Ihram will make you understand details what to do. Then we go Tawaf. Tawaf is circling that house we showed you, Kaaba Musharrafa, the honorable the house located in city of Mecca and surrounded by Al-Masjid al-Haram. So, and then after Tawaf, we do 2 rakats Salah of Tawaf. That is connected to the Tawaf. When we when you do Tawaf, 7 set of circles, then we should go somewhere in Masjid al-Haram or other places. Then we perform 2 rakat Salah. After that, we do a sa'yu between Safa and Marwa. In ancient times, a Safa, al Marwa, this is the two um, smaller mountain. And nowadays, those two mountains are reduced to a smaller size and enclaved the whole facility under a building, under a roof. So mountain, these two mountain are not outdoor. Now those two mountain became indoor current days in uh, the Mecca. And those two mountains, Safa Marwa, uh, it is next to the Masjid al-Haram, very close by, and we have to walk between Safa and Marwa. So start from Safa, goes to Marwa, and come back from Safa to Marwa, and those two mountains are designated with sign and symbol, and you will see when you will go. Then after that, we have to do two things for girls and for the boys. So best thing to do to shave the whole head. Okay. So you have a hair in your head. if you are boys and youngsters, so you have an option which is more rewarding, that you shave whole head. Allah will give you reward and blessings. Now, if you don't want to do so, then the other option is to cut haircut. The trimming the whole head is not a portion of the hair, but it's a whole head hair should be cut. And for female, you have a 2 centimeter from the tip of ponytail you should cut, and no shaving for the girls, as I said. Then how much time it takes? So basically, it's not a very big deal in terms of time. So the ihram is matter few seconds, like intention. When you make intention and some dhikr, and you do, and then it may takes like a minute or less than a minute, as I said. Then you have tawaf. It grossly may take for an hour. Then 2 rakah salah after tawaf, it may take like 5 minutes. Then you have sa'yu, which is very time consuming, 4 hours. I mean 2 hours, not 4 hours. I'm sorry. It's like a grossly. It depends on how you do. So 2 hours to 2.5 hours, it will be done, by the way. And then you have a shaving or haircut takes 20 minutes. So it's a matter of few hours, and then you are done with Umrah and nothing left, and you accomplish what is intended for. So how we will make Ihram? So we will say the person who want to make ihram, they have to come to a arbitrary line, like a designated line. You don't see the line, but it is religiously assumed a line or a place which we call miqat. When we reach to the miqat, either by air or by train or by bus or car. So there are certain area, then you reach the miqat, then you should stand up for a moment, then try to face yourself towards Kaaba, and then you intend to perform Umrah mentally. That's called Ihram. And with this Ihram, then you have to articulate a sentence in Arabic language. Labbaika Allahumma bi umratin. So this is the way you should intend. Then, so intention is a mental function, but the dhikr, Labbaika Allahumma bi umratin, it is a dhikr, and you will say it after you make intention. So it's like a fraction of few seconds. Then you articulate that phrase in Arabic language. Feel free to see your book and recite one time. After that, everybody should start reciting uh, some of the Talbiyah, which we call Talbiyah, and this is very famous, and we will let you know and hear how it looks like. It's labbaika Allahumma labbaik labbaik la sharika laka labbaik innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. This is in Arabic language, but for you, you will see the book and you
اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك
So after intention and your dhikr, there are two additional dhikr related to Umrah. You can recite or you can read one time only when you are sitting position. You don't need to remain standing up all the way. Stand up from your seat in the car or in the ground is like a for few seconds, and then you remain seated and do your stuff and say first time Allahumma hadhihi umrah la riya'a fiha wala sum'a. So this is the Arabic phrase, and you have your book with you and just say one time. After that, there is just another Arabic phrase. You just say Allahumma mahalli haisu habastani. After these two Arabic phrase, and you don't need to say another time. And then you continue with Talbiyah, which is Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik la sharika laka Labbaik. If you, for the parents who do Ihram on behalf of their children, then they can make intention mentally after they make intention by themselves and then on behalf of their kids. But if the kid cannot read from the book, then the parent can do on behalf of their children. So how they do it? So for son, a father or mother can say, "Labbaika umratan an ibni." Labbaika umratan an ibni. This is the son. Then for daughter, Labbaika umratan an ibnati. Labbaika an umratan ibnati. So this is the daughter. And then if you don't know what is the relationship for the children, or you have a difficulty to say ibni ibnati, then there is a way to do it. You can say labbaika umratan an muhammadin, like if the kid's name is muhammadin, then whatever the name of the son or daughter, you can add accordingly. So that will be enough for the phrase of Umrah on behalf of kids. Then the one of the challenges in doing Umrah, as you see in the picture, the huge crowd, and the crowd, the lot of uh, pushing going around. Now, some of the pushes they do, number one, you need to be very careful that the men and women, they all make tawaf in the same place. There is no separate room for female to accommodate or children to accommodate. It is not like your masjid, it's a public place and it's a hugely crowded around the year. And one thing you need to know, that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is saying in his book, fihi ayatum bayyanatin maqabu Ibrahim. There is a place in this area which is called mataf, the area we do tawaf and mataf, the terms. And in that area or in this masjid or in this facility, whoever comes, waman dakhalahu kana amina. Anyone who come here is safe. So you don't have any right to push others aggressively. But pushing is a reality. Some way you have to push, but when you push by your hand, push gently, no, not aggressive, because going closer to the house, which is Kaaba, is one of the sunnah, and you will be rewarded more if you do the tawaf as close as possible to the house. If you have a female accompany, it is highly recommended that the more closer to the house, more crowd will be. So more strength and pushing chances are there. So in order to avoid those pushing, you can be making tawaf from distance. That's okay. If you have female with you, but if you are a man and you are a boy, so you should go forward and go close to the house and perform. But you need to be very careful not to be aggressive, and the other thing is you may get lost because there is a huge crowd and your mom and dad, whoever with you, you may not feel any track, so there is a possibility of getting lost. So this is very important. Okay. So stay safe. That's the bottom line. But this is the situation in Mataf. And then we are showing you the how we do tawaf. So there is a black stone came down from the paradise, as you say. See the previous slide that Allah Ta'ala created the paradise above seventh heaven. So from there, in very old days, a stone came down. That stone still preserved, and it is preserved in the wall of Kaaba. So that is the story, and we call this stone black stone, Hajar Aswad, Al Aswad. So ideally, when we do tawaf, that if possible, we may start our tawaf touching or kissing the stone. But because too much crowd and we cannot go close to the stone is not possible, then we will make waving our hand and signaling with the hand towards the stone. And there is a line when you facing the black stone, and you will see in your eyes that you are just in a straight line facing directly to the stone. Then you signal, wave your hand, and first time you should say Bismillah first time, and then next round you don't need to say Bismillah each time, you just say Allahu Akbar each time you start. So as you start, you should move towards forward, and the Kaaba will be in your left side, and you start moving. When you move, and then whatever the dua you know or zikr you know, you can recite. So if you don't know complicated or long dua, then you can say La ilaha illallah. This is one. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. Um, then Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah bihamdihi, Subhanallah Azim. This, or you can recite Quran by yourself, small surahs. Oh, randomly pick up all the dhikr, or either from Quran or tasbih, tahleel, tahmid, those things. Only thing you must know that if you notice that the immediate behind there is another corner from the black stone. This is called Rokon Yameni. Rokon Yameni, as you see in this picture on your right side, from the Rokon Yameni, when you come to that direction or that level, then you should change the dua to ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. That is the dua is required only when you are passing from the corner of Yemen, which is one. The Kaaba has four corners, by the way, because it's a cube-shaped house. So one corner, Yemeni corner, and you are coming towards the Blackstone corner. Then you have to say, and this dua is very famous. It's in the Quran, and you should say repeatedly when you are coming.
ومنهم من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Then now we are going to show you how really a person could do the tawaf around the Kaaba.
Proceeds to the corner of the Kaaba in which the black stone is situated to begin Tawaf from that point. The sunnah for men is to wear the upper garment wrapped from beneath the right armpit, leaving the right shoulder exposed, while both ends of the garment cover the left shoulder. One then begins Tawaf in line with the black stone corner, gesturing towards it with the hand and saying, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. It is part of the sunnah to touch or kiss the black stone so long as doing that does not involve harming anyone. If unable, one may touch it with a stick or something similar and then kiss that item. If one is unable to touch or kiss the black stone, but he gestures towards it, he is not to kiss what he gestured towards it with. For Tawaf to be valid, one must be clean of both major and lesser forms of hadath, intangible impurity. This is because Tawaf is similar to prayer, though it is permissible to speak during Tawaf. One begins Tawaf from the black stone and makes 7 complete circuits until he eventually ends at the black stone as well. While performing Tawaf, a Muslim is to remain occupied with mentioning Allah and supplicating Him, and is to avoid arguments, disputes, or joking around. The setting is one of much importance, in which misdeeds are forgiven. People attain salvation from the hellfire, and their righteous deeds are raised to Allah. It is part of the sunnah for men to walk at a brisk pace with short steps during the first 3 circuits of Tawaf, as best able, and doing so is not prescribed for women. When passing the Yemeni corner of the Kaaba, one is to touch it with the right hand if able, without kissing it. If difficult to touch the Yemeni corner, one should refrain from touching it and proceed in performing Tawaf without gesturing towards it or saying Allahu Akbar. It is part of the sunnah to say the following while between the Yemeni corner and the black stone corner. Our Lord, grant us good in this world, grant us good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of the hellfire. Upon completing the 7th circuit of Tawaf, men are to cover their exposed shoulder, and all Umrah pilgrims, men and women, are to perform 2 units of prayer behind the Maqam Ibrahim, if able. Otherwise, the 2 units can be performed in any part of the mosque. After Suratul Fatiha in the first unit, one is to read Kul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, Suratul Kafirun. And in the second unit, Kul Huwallahu Ahad, Suratul Ikhlas. Umrah proceeds.
So now after the tawaf, so there are certain ritual act usually we're supposed to perform, which is drinking Zamzam water, and also 2 rakah salah of the tawaf should be done immediately after tawaf. So then we will proceed to the sign following, starting from Safa, Mount Safa and Marwa, in that facility. And with this thing, we call it Sa'yu. Popularly, we say Sa'i, but it is either way, but it is a Sa'yu. between Safa and Marwa. So now we will see how they do.
It is encouraged to drink some Zamzam water while making one's way there. Then one ascends As-Safa hill while saying, "We begin with what Allah began with," and while reading the statement of Allah. Indeed, As-Safa and Al-Marwa are among the defining marks of Allah's religion, which He designated as sites where He is to be worshipped. One then faces the Kaaba direction, praises Allah, declares His perfection, and supplicates Him by saying, "There is none worthy of worship except Allah alone, without any partner. To Him alone belong all dominion and praise, and He is able to do all things. There is none worthy of worship except Allah alone. He fulfilled His promise, aided His worshipping servant, and defeated the alliance of enemies by Himself." That is to be repeated thrice, and one is to supplicate in between as he would like. One then descends from As-Safa and heads towards Al-Marwa while mentioning Allah and supplicating Him as best able. It is part of the sunnah for men only to run in the portion between the two designated green markers. Upon reaching Al-Marwa, one supplicates just as was done on As-Safa, without reading the aforementioned passage of the Quran. That completes 1 out of 7 laps of Sa'i. One then returns to As-Safa in the same manner described. Each trip from As-Safa to Al-Marwa or from Al-Marwa to As-Safa counts as 1 lap. One continues until reaching Al-Marwa at the end of the 7th lap.
So now the popularly when we go if we go to Jeddah International Airport for Umrah by flying to Saudi Arabia, then technically the airport is within miqat, and the pilot is going to tell you an announcement that when you should do your ihram. So again, ihram is a mental intention which you should do mentally, like a conviction, like you think, a thought process, assumption about intention to perform. Then immediately after, you should recite those phrases as we discussed previous slide. So it should be done in the aeroplane if you are flying directly to the Jeddah. So as we see in the picture is the passenger in Bangladesh Airlines, the Bangladeshi Hujjaz, they are going for Hajj season. Then, as we said, we will do Tawaf, 7 circumambulation or circuits around the Kaaba, Musharrafa, the honored Kaaba, the house. After that, we will recite an ayah of Quran, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى, and then 2 rakah salah of the tawaf, and then we'll do the salah, and then we'll do the sa'yu, which is between Safa and Marwa. And after that, we cut the hair. For female, as you see in picture, is 2 centimeter from the tip of ponytail and cut in any secluded places. For example, hotel room, you can cut. So you may carry a seizure in your luggage checked in. You cannot carry a seizure in the carry-on luggage in aeroplane. They will throw it in security checkup. But for the boys, as we said, it's more rewarding to shave the whole head. But if you hate to do it, then you have to trim whole head, not a portion. And then by this activity, you are finished Umrah, and you will be out of Ihram, and you can be free of obligation. So, as I said, we are showing you a video of the how the barber shop in the Mecca. There are many Muslim barber and is available, and they will cut your hair as you direct them. So, and then shape the whole head. So this is very important.
احرص أخي الحاج على الذهاب إلى أماكن الحلاقة المرخصة، وابتعد عن حلاقي الطرقات والأرصفة، ولا تعرض نفسك للأمراض المعدية. وعليك التأكد أن الحلاق يستخدم الأمواس ذات المقابض البلاستيكية والتي تستعمل لمرة واحدة، وأنه قام بتغيير أدوات الحلاقة بعد الحاج السابق وأخرج أدوات جديدة.
So this is a picture for understanding what is miqat meant. This is the picture that in the globe, the black colored cube is the Kaaba, and there are some spots. So you don't need to details and know those names and other things. That's not the issue in this slide. That we are showing that this is a religious obligation. There's certain area you should make intention of Ihram for Umrah. That's the bottom line. So airport is within Miqat, but if you go flying directly to Medina, then it is out of Miqat. Then you should come by train or by bus or by car. So, as you see in the picture, in the map, Jeddah is within the Miqat, and Mecca you will see, and this is the whole thing for doing an Ihram. So those area you should make Ihram. You can come by train from Jeddah, or also, but usually if you fly to Jeddah, your Ihram already started from the plane. And if you come by Medina, then when the train start moving from the Medina rail station, after few minutes, actually 10 to 15 minutes, the operator of the train will give you announcement. And if you come by bus or private car or rent a car, then you will go to Dhul Hulaifa, very close to Medina, and then you perform your Ihram. So before Ihram, please notice, before Ihram, you should make a shower. This shower is a sunnah. And then after shower, so immediately before the airport, like if you are flying from New York directly to Jeddah, then you have to take shower in New York, because there is no other place you can take shower. But if you have stopover, like a transit, and if you are in different class of passenger, probably you may take ghusl, shower. So bottom line is one shower you can make the comfortable area or feasible or doable. Then you need to figure out what to do. If you are not certain transit area whether you will get a shower to take shower, then do it in your home. The Medina people, when they will arrive in Medina, before they start for Ihram, you need to take shower at the hotel, and then after shower, wipe all the water, and then you put perfume. The boy, they should put perfume, very strong perfume, which other people can smell. Very nice perfume, any perfume you want, you spray in your body, from the head to the feet, all over, like you are like sinking in a perfume. For the girl, you can also use perfume, but it should be very light. It should not be very strong that other people can smell from you. So for girl, it should be light perfume especially, but the perfume must be spray in the body. Then this is the masjid. You see the picture, Dhul Hulayfa, from 10 kilometers from Medina, the Masjid al-Nawawi. And then in that particular masjid, if you do ihram, then you should do 2 rakah salah for the blessings of this place, not for ihram. It is the place where 2 rakah salah is recommended if you come during the time of ihram. So this is the only place a person can take blessing by praying 2 rakah for the place, which is Dhul Hulaifa, and currently there is a mosque there, and you have to make ihram over there if you are coming from Medina by car or bus. But if you are coming from train, as you said, the picture, we put it the lower bottom left side. You see in the aeroplane, stand up facing Qibla, say intention, and then the dua. So you will be in ihram. If you are in a train and your face is towards the train is moving that direction, then you are facing the Kaaba, because the train from Medina is coming directly towards Kaaba, and your face is towards that house, so you are fine. Just stand up for a while and sit down and recite Talbiyah and other dua. But if you are in Dhul Hulaifa, then you should make 2 rak'ah salah for this place. There was no specific dua or surah you should recite in this salah. Also, there is no salah connected to ihram. It is actually connected to place. But one thing, you should be very careful before you are going close to miqat. Then you should make some dhikr a few minutes. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wallahu akbar. Like for example, if you are in an aeroplane and the pilot is saying within 30 minutes we are going to pass the miqat, then immediately hearing this announcement, you should start reciting Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wallahu akbar, Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, Allahu akbar. Same in the train. As the train moves, start saying Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, Allahu akbar by like a soft tone, not very loudly, because this is not for Talbiyah. Talbiyah, you should articulate labbaik Allahumma labbaik in a loud voice, not that loud that you are screaming, but in a tone that other people can hear that you are reciting Talbiyah, and this is expected. Don't feel shy to say Talbiyah loudly, male and female alike. What we learned that before going close to miqat, there are some dhikr we can perform for few minutes. Then we are showing you in the screen an aeroplane if you are going directly to the Jeddah. So in the every airlines has a monitor in front of your seat. You will see this thing showing the direction of Kaaba, and also giving the time of arrival Jeddah and the how you are going through. So, and you also can hear the announcement. Let me show you one.
Sa Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, dito sa King Abdul Aziz International Airport. Ayan, at nandito pa rin tayo sa aeroplano, dulan ng Saudi Airline.
Going
at
to
tayo
Jeddah.
Ayan, nandito pa rin tayo sa ipapawid mga ayos sa...
So, in the screen, you will see this type of thing, like a time to miqat, like a countdown from 17 onward. You will see in the screen and get ready for your ihram. But before you do so, you should board in the ihram with ihram cloth for the boys only. For the female, There is no specific cloth required, but you will hear the announcement like this.
أود نذكركم بأننا سوف نحلق فوق منطقة الميقات خلال 20 دقيقة تقريبا من الآن. تقبل الله طاعتكم. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be passing الميقات at al-Ihram approximately in 20 minutes. Thank you.
So now, from the train, how we will go from Haramain bullet train from Medina to Mecca. So this is a very beautiful rail station. If you have more luggage, then it is highly recommended that the extra luggage you should mail through the station. There are some carrier, they will take your luggage one day ahead, but they allow usually one big luggage and one hand luggage for each passenger. So for your information, if you have a more than one big luggage, so you can mail it, ship it one day before you are traveling to Mecca. If not, then the same day you can do so, but the bag will arrive to Mecca next day. They will call you and charge you some extra money. But in the train, once you are be seated, start reciting Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, then waiting for announcement from the train operator that you are going towards. We are passing across the Miqat. So you will see this. Then the Talbiyah, you are starting from Miqat, technically from the aeroplane, from the train station, and from Dhul Hulaifa. Then you should continue non-stop. Now, what is non-stop? Non-stop means at your convenience. Like you should take some rest for a few minutes and start again. You should not remain silent all the way. That's not good, because this is a worship, and when you are saying talbiyah loudly, with you the stone, the trees, all the materials is next to you are also reciting this talbiyah along with you, and they will be witness in Yawm al-Qiyamah, and it is very blessing. So do not gossip, do not like spend time only watching and remain silent, not to say anything. That's not good. Okay, this is the time of worship, and opportunity will be remaining. As you see in the map from the Jeddah airport, it will take 1 hour and 15 minutes close to Masjid al-Haram, and once you arrive in the hotel, you stop the talbiyah. I think you got the point. So hotel, if the hotel located very close to Masjid al-Haram, then that's the end of talbiyah, and you don't need to make talbiyah anymore. So again, so when you enter into Masjid al-Haram, it is not specific for al-Masjid al-Haram. Al-Masjid al-Haram, please try to learn how to say the name of this masjid. We have a tendency in Bangladeshi community, we call Mursid. There is no Murshid, Masjid. There is no Ra. It's Masjid, not Marshid, Mursid. Masjid. But this masjid has a specific name. We call it Al-Masjid Al-Haram. That's the correct phrase, murakkab. You have to learn and say Al-Masjid Al-Haram. If you cannot say al-Masjid al-Haram, then you can abbreviate al-Haram also will be okay. Now when you enter through the gate you see this is the Umrah gate. This is the main gate named after a king of Saudi Arabia, Abdul Aziz. So in this gate nowadays you see the two minarat very high, and people will go whoever is designated or intended for perform Umrah. Once you are entering into the masjid, you should take off your shoes and keep it within yourself and put your right foot first time, and you say Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah Allahumma gfir li dhunubi waftah li abwaba rahmatik أعوذ بالله العظيم وبوجهه الكريم وسلطانه القديم من الشيطان الرجيم. That dua is any masjid in the world you can recite. But if you cannot memorize whole thing, just to say Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, it will be okay inshallah. Or Allahumma gfir li dhunubi, Allahumma aftah li abwaba rahmati, whichever is convenient and easy for you, just go ahead and recite. But don't forget to say at least Bismillah when you are entering, at least a right foot first in Masjid al-Haram. So, and then when you first time see the Kaaba, raise your hand to make Kaaba, to make dua, then you should recite one time Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam fahayyana rabbana bis salam. After this phrase, you can also make dua for you in the English language you are comfortable with. Say, for example, oh Allah, give me strength and ability to perform tawaf, perform sa'yu, and complete the ritual act of Umrah. Oh Allah, forgive me, forgive my parents, my grandparents, and all this kind of good dua you can make when you see first time in the Kaaba, whatever the place you are in, the Al-Masjid Al-Haram. I think you got this point. And then we are going to discuss how to do the whole procedure another angle. So you stop the talbiyah, which is labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak, labbaik innal hamda wan ni'mata lak wal mulk la sharika lak. And you arrived in the hotel, take some rest, then make a wudu. Do not take shower, because this is the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he would do a wudu, new wudu in the hotel. And it is highly recommended if you can come to the Mecca in the daytime. That's another sunnah which is you will be rewarded if you can schedule that way. Then little rest if you are tired from long journey, that's fine. A small nap is okay, but do not remain in the whole day not doing anything, and after a long rest and you do tawaf, it is not recommended. Okay, so what is good for you, just take the advantages and privileges appropriately and not in other way around. Then you see the Kaaba and raise hands and make dua in Arabic phrase and also for yourself. And then you start signaling Bismillah, then Allahu Akbar, then start moving towards the ahead. Left side you will be in Kaaba, and you circle the house for 7 times. Once you start, this tawaf is kind of a salah. Like you have to maintain your wudu while doing 7 times tawaf. So be careful about 7 times. When you do, you should count, take track how many round you did. It should not be less than 7, it should not be more than 7, it should be exactly 7. So if you are confusing between odd number or even number, then you need to take consideration that the minimum you did, that is the confirmed, like a confusion between 4 and 5. So you fix your mind that you did 4 by sure. Now you perform another 3 to make it 7, or you can write it down, or you can ask your mom and dad to keep track, or you can track by yourself, as you said. Then after Tawaf, you come to the Masjid al-Haram or any other place. It's not required to come to inside the masjid, but one thing is very important: when you are making the 2 rak'ah salah, which is connected to Tawaf, you have to take protection yourself, which we call sutra. Meaning is uh, some object must be in front of you, like an object which height is at least 1 hand span, like a 1 foot approximately, or you are behind the wall, or someone who is sitting in front of you and doesn't move, then you can pray 2 rakah behind that person. That's also allowed, and you should be very careful. Do not walk in front of the people who are praying. And once you finish the 2 rakah of the Salat Tawaf, and then you drinking Zamzam, and during drinking Zamzam, you should make dua again. Now, this dua you can say by mouth, but be careful whenever you want to raise hand. If you want to make dua, wherever you are in the Mecca, city of Mecca, please face towards Kaaba. Face towards Kaaba. So raising hand is required or connected to facing the Kaaba. And drinking Zamzam is also very blessed, and you can make dua anything you want, specifically like for your own health, for your cognitive function, for your memory, for your success in this dunya and success in this akhirah, forgiveness for your parents, and good health, good well-being for yourself, and ask Allah to give you generously, and you should do that. Take the opportunity. And drinking Zamzam, this water is very blessed, and you will get lots of benefit. You may not see on that moment, but you will see spiritually, also physically. Then you do the Safa and Marwa, the circuit 7 times, and we will show you how to do it with the dhikr and dua. And after that, shaving or trimming the whole head, or 2 centimeter haircut from ponytail for the girls. And how to perform Salat of Tawaf. So as we said, this phrase you should say 1 time. You can see the book and you just recite وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. That's enough 1 time. And when you are making 2 rakah Salat of Tawaf, then first rakah Surah Al-Kafirun after Surah Fatiha, and second rakah after Surah Ikhlas, then Surah Ikhlas after Surah Fatiha. Then when you drink Zamzam, you should know that drinking Zamzam, you need to be seated. And you will see in the picture the 2 person is drinking. One is standing, one is sitting. The sitting person is doing good job, because this is you should. Other person who is standing is not good. But if you are in a rush and lots of crowd and you cannot sit, there is no space to be seated, then it's okay to be drinking standing position. But it is highly recommended that you should be remaining seated when you are drinking. Any place, even you are drinking at home, or any places in the world, regardless what kind of water you are drinking, is Zamzam or your like a home water is the same rule. Zamzam doesn't have any specific rule. We are not putting extra value to the Zamzam water that you should making a honor this water while standing. That's incorrect. Then how to start from Safa? So once we approach to the Mount Safa as following the sign, then a few statement in Arabic language you should say one time. First, you start with the phrase, the sentence portion from Quran. Inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. Okay, and it is written in the book. After that, you should say nabda'u bima bada Allahu bih. Nabda'u bima bada Allahu bih. It's one time only. Then you should say La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, also one time. Then you are done. 3 sentences should be said only one time, no repetition, and looking at the book. Then after that the whole huddle will start. Then you should start with Allahu Akbaru, Allahu Akbaru, Allahu Akbar 3 times. Then La ilaha illallahu wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu, yuhyi wa yumeet, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Then La ilaha illallahu wahdahu anjaza wa'dahu wa nasara abdahu wa hazama al-ahzaba wahda. These 3 sentences is, we call it dhikr. This dhikr, a kind of dua, but this dua you don't need to raise your hand, but you should face towards Kaaba, even though in front of you there are some wall, but you don't need to literally physically see the Kaaba, but facing the Kaaba, and without raising hand you finish this thing. Remember, these 3 sentences should be done 3 times in Safa at the beginning, and it will be continuing alike. Then you should raise hand. In this raising hand you will make dua, whatever dua you know. Like in Arabic, ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. Whatever dua you memorize, or you should say in English, oh Allah, forgive me, forgive my parents, accept my worship. And you should be making dua generously that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala listening what you are saying even in English. So sequence of raising hand and sequence of mentioning the dhikr. So you did dhikr, and then you make raise hand facing the Kaaba dua as you like, as I discussed just now. Then you mention again, and then you raise the hand and facing Kaaba, make dua alike. Then you make it again, the zikr, but this time don't raise hand and start moving. That's the way in Safa. Same thing you will do in the Marwa, and you will be fine. So as we said that inna Safa wal Marwa, this is actually verse from the Quran. So if you do 7 circuit from the Safa to Marwa, basically 7 circuit will covering 3.5 kilometer. That's why we said that it may take 2 hours. So in between the green lights, for boys, they should run a little bit faster compared to female. Female also can go faster, but not like a man, with decency. I think you understand this thing. Inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. So this is the ayat of Quran. And between the Safa and Marwa, actually it should be Marwa. I forgot to put the M. Rabbighfir warham innaka antal a'azzul akram. That's the dua you should say when you are walking between Safa and Marwa, Marwa and Safa. Rabbighfir warham innaka antal a'azzul akram. As we said, the sign of the Safa and the Marwa you will see is written in some sign in the facility under the roof. All facility are under air condition, so you are not facing any challenge of hot weather outside. Then we'll listen how they do, at least one way.
دعاء الوقوف على الصفا والمروة. لما دنا صلى الله عليه وسلم من الصفا قرأ: إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله، أبدأ بما بدأ الله به. فبدأ بالصفا فرقي عليه حتى رأى البيت، فاستقبل القبلة فوحد الله وكبره وقال: لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وحده.
So, and now we'll show you how to make sa'yu. Like after you finish the tawaf, coming this way or any other way convenient for you, and go to the right side, right direction. Then you start from Safa, and then you face towards Qibla, and you should say the way I described, and start your sa'yu from Safa towards Marwa. And that's very easy and straightforward. It is a Mount Safa. It surrounded by some glass wall, and the mountain is reduced to very low from this facility. It used to be a taller mountain in the past, as you see. So, and then things to avoid when you are in the state of Ihram. Ihram basically a state which is a ritual state. You should not use perfume after entering Ihram. So this is a misunderstanding or confusion that about perfume. Perfume you should do before Ihram, but once you are in, then whatever perfume you used, you don't need to wash it. You continue, okay? A new install or spray the perfume after you enter Ihram is not allowed for boys and girls alike. So this is the one of the misunderstanding. Then a man should not wear any dress. That's the main part, like a shirt or hooded robes, pant, trousers, turban, kufi, shoes, socks. For women, for the girl alike, they should not wear a niqab, which is an extra cloth covering your nose and the mouth area in the half of your face, exposing only eyes. That's the niqab, not allowed. So you should, a girl should keep your face open, but you should not wear extra cosmetics to attract the man. So no additional cosmetics to paint it in your face, lips, and other area of the face. Do not beautify yourself. This is not allowed. And also hand gloves, you should not use it. If you are try to cover your face, then there is a way. You need a very special cloth, long, very transparent, so you can see in front of you, and that is also allowed. But you need to collect that special cloth, like you see it. The cloth is so thin that you can see in the from the behind the cloth. we do not recommend to do hard thing, make your life difficult. Just keep it as it is. You will be fine, inshallah ta'ala. Then, how to wear the clothes? They will show the video. You are feel free to use a belt, regardless if the belt has stitches. You are fine. If your belt is leather or metal belt, that's still fine. You can practice a few times when you are at home. It's very simple. Only thing that this cloth, lower garment, you cannot stitch like a ad, make one single cloth. You cannot do that. You can wear it on the top. You may take the help of a string or belt. Is okay, but you should not stitch the ends of the two portion, and the top portion, which is um, top, you just keep it on your shoulder, on your body. Only expose the right shoulder for the boys before you start tawaf. After tawaf, you close it and cover the shoulder when you perform salah. So, as we see, there is a dress code. So, in this dress code, for female, chador and hijab are allowed, but no niqab and burqa. And the others are the for boys, the shoes, no socks, no shoes, and also underwear. You cannot wear underwear. You should be without underwear. And these shoes on the 1, 2, 3, as you said, first one is allowed, but it's difficult to walk. You may tripped off because it's very risky. So we do not recommend to wear that. Then second, also we are not recommending because it covers the ankle. The third, we don't recommend because it covers the ankle. But the fourth, this is highly recommended because it exposes your heel, your ankle, in your foot, and on the front you have toes uncovered. That's very good. But if some shoes covers the toe, is okay. But you should be very careful that your backside of your foot should be exposed, and that's the requirement for ihram cloth. And now we are showing what to do in the minor, like a toddler and the babies and the like a who are not very mature enough. So the guideline is up to 5 years of age because they cannot hold their urine. Though, so diaper is a must. Okay, so 5 years and below, from birth to 5 years, the baby must have diaper. Why? Because their urine, if they pee in the Masjid al-Haram, it will be problem to clean, and this is impure. Their older kids, their urine is impurities. So we strongly recommend that protect the sanctity of the al-Masjid al-Haram. That's why for the boys and for the girl, there is no specific dress code, so they can wear the diaper and other clothes as well. For the boys, particular, diaper is a must if you are 5 years old or below. And then the ihram cloth. Now, from the 5 down to the age of few days, like very younger than 5, whether they should wear ihram, it does not make big deal. It's up to the parents. If you afford, you can. But it is, if they are normal clothes, still fine. Why? Because they did not reach to the age of, we call it Sinnu Rushd, age of maturity, number one. They are not um, that the mature enough to take this thing. So the Sharia is not imposed their obligation to these kids. So if they wear some ihram fancy clothes, it's okay. But if they do not have, it's fine. But diaper is a must. I think it's clear for all of our parents what to do. Um, so this is the boys, particular up to age of 5, because we call it mumayyaz from the age, because if the person has religiously obliged, we call it mukallaf. Mukallaf, we are coming to say later, but say for example, age of 5 to 7. Age of 5, 7, if the children are comfortable without diaper, they can go to school, they can stay home, they don't pee in the here and there in outdoor activities, then you don't need to put the diaper to these children. But again, how they will make ihram cloth? You can use safety pin, also belt, also string around the waistline. You are feel free to do this. Only thing that the lower garments should not be stitched together. It should be separated. But this is also optional because they are not technically in the age of mumayyaz. Mumayyaz meaning is a boy after 7, the religious obligation will be start. When? Because religious obligation, the mukallaf, one of the condition is age 7. And age 7, if the boy has a sound mind and qudra, meaning is person, the boy can are able to perform. If you instruct like a 7-year-old kid, he know how to make salah, for example, then he should take the stake to real ihram like an adult. Okay, but if it is between 5 and 7, they may not wear diaper, but if they cannot articulate the dua, then parents should do on behalf of them. But you don't need to prompt. What we are doing with the below 7 ages, we are doing tarbiyah. This is not an ibadat for the kids. This is a tarbiyah, like you are raising your kid as a slave of Allah. So one day when the kid will grow, so they will be real mu'tamir to make a real umrah after age of 7. Okay, so for the 7 and up to the age of puberty, which we call sinnu rushd, age of puberty. How do you know your boys and girls became reaching the puberty? Some of the sign for the girl, first time there's a ministration. Once after that, there are prolonged delay of regular menstrual period. The first ministration is a sign of puberty of the girl, and the parent should discuss this issue with the girl and with the doctor. The second sign of the puberty is in armpit, the axillary hair, and below the navel there are some pubic hair. If it grows, then they are reaching to the puberty. And also wet dream. For the boy's wet dream, if the boy is depends again, if it is mature, he understand what is salah, and if giving instruction they can perform, sound mind, qudra, capability, he can perform on his own, can read from printed material, or he understand what not to do and what to do, then that boy, regardless of how old he is, like above 7 definitely, but 9 or 8, he will do exactly like adult. if other condition is there like autistic children or Down syndrome child, then person is not in mumayyaz, is not reaching the state of tamiz. So then if he wants to do, then the parent should not impose any extra burden for the kids. Whatever he could do, but there is no rule of sharia for these kids if he has a special needed child. Okay, I think you understand this thing. So menstruation, if the girls, college going girl, they started a menstrual period, and how to make their ihram in perspective of suddenly the period started just before entering ihram in miqat. So even few days before miqat, if the period start, that they should take shower. That's the bottom line. Shower is mandatory. Then the same way in miqat, even though is menstrual period, the girl should wear uh, protected sanitary pads, protect yourself not to leak any menstrual blood to your seat, and you stand up facing qibla and recite the ihram dua and dhikr accordingly we discuss, and continue talbiyah and waiting in the hotel, and time to time they should continue talbiyah. There is no continuation of the period. They should look for when they are going to depart, like a departure dates. Depends on that. If the period is not expected to end, then the girl should do the tawaf with menstrual period. That's the bottom line. Okay, once period start, you cannot stop it. So but technically you can stop it if you have a research on it on your body, or your doctor, primary care doctor, or your OBGYN doctor could help you. Then there is a way to so you cannot, how to make umrah when menstruation no option is feasible, like you have no choice but to go forward to make tawaf. The main big deal is a tawaf, which is like a prayer salah. So women who has a period, they should not make any salat, so they are allowed to make tawaf in special cases. So take shower again in hotel and full protection of wearing sanitary pads. Okay, not to protection is a very very strong recommendation, because the menstrual blood, if it drops in the al Masjid al-Haram or in mataf, it will be a sin, and somebody will take the responsibility because it may impure other people as well. So, and complete the seventh circuit of tawaf, and then no prayer to raka, because the girl is under ministration. So continue with sa'i and drinking zamzam water and dua and azkar, everything like as we described before, and then cut the hair 2 centimeter from the tip of ponytail. Now, one thing is important. Someone like a mom and daughter. Now, both of them are in ihram. If mom cuts the hair for the daughter, even though she did not cut for herself, it's okay, because to helping other people does not violate the condition of ihram. That should be aware of it. Okay. The other thing, it is strongly recommended that if you want to stop your menstruation, then you need to know your calendar, menstrual calendar, which in the month, how many days it remain, how many days it takes when once bleeding started, and whether you qualify to take the medication. You need a help of prescriber like a primary care doctor or a OBGYN, how to stop if you know the date. So there is a way, but it's allowed if you could do. So at least 3 days before the expected period. If you know that your period is regular, then you could do at least 3 days. Better if you start from 4 days. So it's one option. Then 3 tablets daily, once a day, uh, for 4 days before the expected period. This is one way. The other way is like a total 5 milligram of norethistérone 3 times a day is very high doses to delay the period. Like you can delay maybe 1 day or 2 day. By this time you finish the tawaf, you are fine. So this thing should not be try once you in the ihram. You should try in the real world before you go to Makkah al-Mukarramah. So do not, you are not a guinea pig that giving all the trial when you are in a trip for Umrah. I think you know this thing. And also there is some risk of health as well. You need to consult with your primary care doctor. Then another thing is aged girl who wants to stop menstrual period for the purpose of Umrah. For time being, you can do so. To insert a IUD, intrauterine device, is allowed, but you should start by the help of your primary care doctor or OBGYN at least 6 months before the trip, so the period may stop completely and you can perform. I think you understand this thing. So which gate of Al-Masjid al-Haram is preferable to enter? As we said, if you are designated for Umrah purpose, then you should or you have no other option to go for Tawaf ground level in this gate, the gate you see in the right hand of this slide. And there is another gate which you will see is the extension of Masjid al-Haram, which is called King Abdullah gate with two minarets. You see, this is extension. Now this extension you can go because there is less crowd. It is a part of masjid. So one rak'ah of salah in the masjid, which will be equivalent to 100,000, like a 100,000 rak'ah of salah. But condition is you should go either in the roof or inside the facility, like you should cross the door, not in the courtyard, not in the outdoor patio. If you pray in the patio with the congregation, with jama'ah, you will not get, according to correct scholarly opinion, that 100,000 rak'ah of the salah. And also again, if you make salah from the hotel, your salah, there is a chances to make invalid, because the row continuation is required if you want to make salah from the hotel. So don't be misguided by the advertisement and the common folks in the Umrah and what they say. So this is very important. So this gate is the little bit like a left side. If you keep walking, you will see, and very nice new construction is almost finished. Air condition, bathroom is close by, and there's family room, especially those parents have a children, they should go in the other than Umrah this gate, which is gate of King Abdullah gate. Very, very good. I personally recommend. And Nawfal Tawaf, if you want to do extra Tawaf, you should go to the upstairs. You are not supposed to go ground floor mataf to make extra Tawaf. Now, Tawaf is an ibadat. Once you start, you have to finish 7 circuits, 7 rounds. You can't do like a 1 or 2 and then you give up. It's not allowed. And also maintain your wudu. So I strongly recommend for the young kids who has a flatulence, like you cannot hold your like a break the wind, flatus for example, it break the wudu. So if this is the case, so you can take some pill which is gas X. So in the morning, when you are making a plan to make an extra tawaf in the Masjid al-Haram, in the second floor upstairs, that be prepared that one circuit is like a almost like 1 kilometer or less than. It's very long walk towards. So it's very cumbersome and tiresome, labor intensive. The requirement of wudu is needed. So the wudu, if you break, then you cannot make wudu inside the masjid. There is no, it's not like an ordinary masjid. So be careful. So usually, and other thing is that if you cannot maintain your wudu at all and you have to urinate or you break the wind, then you just leave the Al Masjid Al Haram, the Tawaf area, and come back to outside, go to hotel, take make new wudu, go to restroom, and start again. If this activity is done a little bit interval. But remember one thing, once you start, you have to finish, because Allah Ta'ala said, Atimul Hajj wal Umrah lillah. So every component of the Umrah, once you start, you cannot stop. You have to fulfill or finish. Now, we are not supposed to do farewell tawaf. Farewell tawaf meaning is when you are about to depart from Mecca. There is a opinion among the scholar. Some scholars said it is recommended. Some others said there is no evidence, because the farewell tawaf actually part of a nusuk manasik of Hajj. If you are coming to Mecca for Hajj, then when you are going, last activity with the Al Masjid Al Haram should be a tawaf, which we call farewell tawaf. But there is an option, even though it is recommended, it is not, but you should take the opportunity to be blessed with making a tawaf, because it is a good thing. So best time for tawaf from my view is after Fajr Salah, or you can go hotel, take breakfast, then you relieve yourself and come to Al Masjid Al Haram, go to upstairs and do a tawaf. That's fine. But if you cannot make the farewell tawaf, like a last tawaf, but you pray in the masjid, still fine. No problem at all, because basically an umrah there is no farewell tawaf. That's the bottom line. But extra tawaf 7 circuit always end up with 2 rakah salah. Tawaf and salah, it is connected, and there is no forbidden time. Whatever the time you are there, you can make 2 rakah salah the same way you did it first time for umrah. But there is no nafil, like a extra sa'i. You should not do it, and nobody does it. And also, when you are praying in the sa'i Masa, the area where you are doing between Safa and Marwa, be attentive. That place is not included in Masjid al-Haram, al-Masjid al-Haram, because this is not part of Masjid. So if you do so, your salah may be valid, but you will not be getting reward of 100,000 of rakah of the salah, because it is outside of the Masjid. And they feel free to carry your book and recite. If you cannot memorize the dua, that's fine. But you cannot prompt each other. Like your mom and dad should not prompt you to do so. You practice at home, that's good. But when you are real worship, you have to do whatever you could. Okay? So there is no prompting in this case. Some people misunderstand this prompt not allowed is like how a person will do so if they make proxy umrah. For example, somebody is doing Umrah on behalf of a person who deceased, already died, passed away. Yes, he or she could do, but that is different situation. Person is performing ibadat either on herself or himself or on behalf of others. That's completely different situation. What we are saying here, prompting, meaning that it is an ibadat between a slave of Allah and Allah. So you, whatever you could, you articulate in your tongue and make dua. Allah will accept it, even though it is has a lot of mistake. And reading from book is allowed, but you are not supposed to direct or command, prompt other people, because this is ibadat. Is a ibadat is badani. Ibadat, badani meaning is physical ibadat. Physical ibadat, you should do it on your own, even though you are little. Like if you are 10-year old, you are fasting, you should fast by yourself. Your mom and dad cannot fast on behalf of you. So same like you are making salah of Fajr salah or Dhuhr salah, you have to make it on your own. Your mom and dad cannot prompt next to you. That's what we're saying. But the proxy ibadat is a different is a variety of ibadat. Okay, so we are not going to details discuss that thing, and that's the end of the discussion today. And we want you guys to ask question or anything. So that's all for today. I think if the kids still in the audience, I would strongly recommend they try to understand this ibadat. Okay, it's a very great, and that the someone can perform Umrah. Okay, so it is connected to Hajj. So when the kids, they will be in adult life, they will make Hajj, so it will be part of Hajj as well. uh, so I have some question I want to share with you. First question is that the uh, the Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. How do you do intention if you are doing Umrah for deceased? Uh, well, if you can do different way. One is if you see the deceased person is your father, then you said an abi, or if the mom, then an ummi, like this. An jaddi, like your grandfather, and if it is the grandmother, then an jaddati. That's the Arabic expression. If you are having difficulty to say Arabic word, then you can put the person's name. Like for example, like a grandmother's name is Hasina or Khalida, then an Khalida and an Hasina. That's fine. Okay. Or if it is your son, then Ibni, or daughter Ibnati, or person's name. Only one time, that's enough, but the phrase should be in Arabic language. And I have one question. Can we wear Crocs in Hajj? Yes, Crocs you can wear just to make sure that nothing should cover your back of your foot, which is the ankle area. Ankle should be clean. So it's better to take off the lace. The Crocs, each Crocs has a lace. You should not put it there. You just remove it, then you are fine. But the issue is that front portion of your toes are covered. That's okay, no problem. But it is better if you can expose your toes to, because actually what happened in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to wear some sort of a unique design of sandal which expose the toes and whole feet, but only covers the bottom. Nowadays, this type of sandal is not available in the market. So the condition is the back side of the foot including the top portion of your foot, ankle joint should be exposed. Okay. Front side of the foot, which is toes, if you can expose, is good. It is good. So you are more closer to original. If you cannot afford, then Crocs is fine. Can I unmute and ask him? I already answered your question. Can I ask you? Okay. Is it Nancy Hussain? Okay. So I think, is there no other question? Or if you have a special question, and the organizer who is organizing this program, you can ask them. Okay. So again, I'm giving the answer of the Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. That ayat and other two phrases of dhikr, it should be only one time, not three times. This is number one. Number two, when you are approaching to the Safa, then you can say, especially you are in the middle, like you are going to up, then when you are walking, because you don't need to stop in order to say those ayat and other dua. No, no. One time if you do in the lower portion of the Safa is fine, no problem, alhamdulillah. Yes, so it is like a top of the hill is highly recommended, but the hill is surrounded by glass wall, so you cannot reach the hill. Convenient for you, because there are lots of crowd in that area, so you will take position conveniently in little bit higher places, definitely, and you will try to see the Kaaba. If some wall obstruct you not to see directly, that's okay. But like a comfortable area. It's not like you should go tip of the mountain. It's not possible technically, because both Safa and Marwa, two mountains, are reduced, and it is protected by a fence made by glass. So you cannot go on the top. Not three times. I said three sentences one time, not three times. You should be very, very careful what you are saying. What I said in the presentation, I already said the ayat will be one time, but once you start Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, that three takbir should be repeated along with dhikr three times. No, 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 no. Safa and Marwa, same procedure. This is established, and I took my time and described properly. Do not create any confusion to the listener. Please be attentive. Safa and Marwa has the same procedure. Do not add anything extra. This is number one. Number two, that the sequence. This is the sequence. First is the zikr, when you should not raise your hand and you recite. So it starts with Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, and then you at the end. Then you raise your hand and make dua for yourself in English or Arabic or any other language. Then after that you drop your hand and recite the dua, the zikr again. And then the same way you did it first time. Then once you did it, then you raise hand and make dua again on your own language in Arabic or English or any other language. Then recite the zikr again the way you did first time. After third time, there is no dua. So basically, raising hand is two times and reciting the dhikr is three times. This is the way, exactly the same in Safa and also Marwa. You understand, you are again try to add something which I do not appreciate. At the end of Sa'yu, you are done. You don't need to say anything. Any other question? And there is a question, it came, can you please repeat intention when you do Umrah for yourself? It is in the lecture, you will see it. Because attending the session is required. You cannot ask question what I discussed already. The whole intention, replacement of Umrah diseased person, again, same. Intention is a mental function. You don't need to say by mouth. You say mentally, like you take a a thought for a few seconds, then intention will be done. After that, articulation of dua, labbaika Allahumma umratan bi umratin or labbaika umratan an, then you put the name of the deceased person. Assalamu alaikum is wearing socks allowed. The wa alaikum assalam, the questionnaire did not mention for whom. This wearing socks, what socks? The question is incomplete. Number one is the person who is asking question is a Shahida. I assume she is asking question for women. So socks for feet for women has no restriction. In fact, they're supposed to wear socks when they pray Salah. All the women, they are supposed to wear socks when they pray Salah. This is highly, highly recommended because this is a command from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, men and women both, that when you pray, either you pray with shoes or you pray with socks or socks and shoes both. So and it is in the Umrah for women, the socks of the foot or feet is allowed and recommended, and you should. Do not go to, not forget about Umrah. I have experience in North America. Many women are coming in the masjid. They are wearing a pyjama above the ankle. It is a major sin. It is a major sin. You will be punished. Min asfala min kab isbal. It will be in hellfire, regardless. Regardless. Number one. Number two, for female, if you exposed your feet in the salah, your salah is invalid because it is one of the conditions to fulfill the salah, to cover your feet. Now, the sole of your feet, if you cannot cover, that is acceptable. But by the dress, when you are standing up for the prayer for women, it is highly, highly recommend to cover the top of your feet in the salah. But if you are not wearing a socks and you are making salah, it's okay as long as standing position you cover your feet. But in the sizda, when you are doing and bottom part of your feet exposed, it is acceptable. The scholar did not object with this. So what we learn from this thing, that covering feet, Umrah, al-Masjid, at home, as long as you are alive in the face of the earth and you remain as a Amatullahi Ta'ala, slave of Allah, you are supposed to cover your feet in the Salah. So in the Umrah, also socks for foot or feet is not allowed. You should. Only thing we discuss the socks of the hand gloves. I strongly believe that the gloves should not be called as socks. The gloves like a hand. So it should be like a open. So I think I answered this question. For the boys, like if, as we discussed, the age limit, when he is mumayyiz, like mature enough to carry out for the ibadat, you need to be a mukallaf. Three things: qudra, capability; aql, sound mind; and bulugh or tamiz, mumayyiz. Then you have to follow no socks in your feet for the boys from the point of miqat until he finish the haircut or shape. I think I answered this. Can we wear special shoes prescribed by doctor during tawaf? Of course, the women has no restriction. shoes, socks, whatever doctor prescribe or you have, you can. For food is fine. Well, is no problem at all. For religious perspective is not a problem. For the Masjid al-Haram was not a problem. So for women is nothing. I think we answered this. Any other question? Okay, if somebody has a like a special kind of device the doctor prescribed, like a food protection, then for religious perspective, for women, no restriction, number one. For the management perspective, like a person who is entering into Al Masjid Al Haram, if the guard who is guarding the door, if they do not object, then it's okay. Because if there is a restriction, the authority who is guarding the door, they will stop you. For example, somebody has artificial foot. For example, someone lost their leg. So one foot is real, another foot is unreal. In that case, he is taking a shoes with the artificial foot. So is he allowed to go inside? Yes, it is allowed, as long as they are not objecting. It's a security reason. Like if the security people allow you, you are fine. For women is no problem at all, but for men it is a different story and we are not discussing that issue. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. One of the disadvantages to born in Bangladesh is that the Bangladesh is the taking the Islamic heritage and knowledge from the neighboring country who is Urdu speaker from India perspective, and they are heavily the producing information for performing the worship in different way, and sometimes it is not an authentic way. That's why our population in our community, we cannot get the real message. It is difficult. We have a barrier, we have a cultural barrier, and we have unfortunate knowledgeable people who are being an imam of some masajid of Bangladeshi community. They are not getting the real thing from the book. That's why the misconception is prevailing in the community, and this same misconception is transferring from father to their children, mother to their daughter. That's why we are making a mission with Tawhid Foundation in New York to correct our worship, how to perform based on the evidence. In the Umrah and Hajj, the person who is in under the state of Ihram, there is no narration and hadith or statement of Sahaba that stitch is mentioned. This is nowhere mentioned. The what is mentioned in hadith, it is qamis or kumasa, amama like a turban, or saradil which is pantalon, pants. Those are the things mentioned in hadith. Meaning is we have an organ. For example, hand is a arm, and the body, the main body, like a torso, is a one part. The thigh, legs are the part. Those body parts should not wrapped around to give a shape of a dress. So, if any cloth covering the leg, surrounding the leg, either torso, the top tank, or the arms or the leg, is not allowed. It is not related to the stitch. It is not related to that way. It is related to dress. For example, the audience may look, I am wearing a thobe, what we call zubba in Bangla. Can I make a ihram with this zubba? Yes, I can. How? I should take off the dress and wrap around. Then it's fine. It is the wearing a cloth which covers the limb is not allowed. That's the understanding. It is not with the stitch. If you see in reality the people who wear the waist belt, that belt has many stitches. People are wearing it. So it is not based on the stitch. Your shoes may have a stitch for the boys, your belt may have a stitch, then you may have a stitch in other places as well. But as long as it does not take the shape of your body surrounding you, then it's allowed. So that's the way of understanding. So there is a one question is coming. So long we are doing extra tawaf after completing umrah on the first floor, can then we are not sinning as long as we are not doing extra tawaf after completing umrah on the first floor. I do not understand the question. What I want to say, this question is not clear, but I can explain it to you. So when we do the formal umrah, which is ibadah, for which we are traveling to Saudi Arabia, okay, that umrah, the Saudi Arabia authority allowed men and women to do umrah, and it should be in the ground floor, but they cannot check your intention. Are you doing second time like a nawafil extra tawaf? If you do so extra tawaf in the ground floor, you need a clearance from the guard in the door that you are doing nawafila extra. Look at the guard if the guard allow you. Most likely they will not allow, because the gate currently Al Masjid al-Haram built up, which is King Abdul Aziz gate. That gate is the only way to enter into the. There is a other way you can enter, but it's a little bit complicated. We want to make it simple. So that gate, a man and women, when they try to enter, for men, the dress code will indicate they are doing Umrah. For women, there is no specific dress code. So they assume that all women who are trying to go to the downstairs, the ground floor to make tawaf, they are making Umrah. Now, is it allowed? Only allowed is due to Umrah, because the law is not for only men. Any law for management perspective, the authority of Al-Masjid al-Haram is doing is not for men only, it's men and women both. But as we said, there is a etiquette in the area of Al-Masjid al-Haram. They are not imposing like a police, like giving a ticket or whipping you or pushing you or give a punishment. It's not the case. Even you do some mistake in the authority cannot punish you, because this place is a haram, so you are safe. Even you do a crime, authority cannot punish in that area. So they remain silent. They cannot do anything. They will not protect you. So the best advice, if a lady want to do tawaf in the ground floor, ask the permission that I'm doing nawafila or extra. Say they know it in English. If they allow you, you are fine. But if you do not allow, your husband is not allowed, because he is not in the cloth of ihram, so he is not making umrah, and you are with the husband and you enter by yourself pretending that you are doing umrah, it is not good. Why are you pretending? Because this is the law, this is the rule. We have to obey the rule obligation from the authority. The authority cannot give you a ticket like American police does, giving a $50 ticket or 1 day prison. That's not the case. So I think you understand that one. do not break the law, because when a mu'tamir is giving a visa, like a Umrah visa, that is a condition that you should not violate the law of the land. So the law is established by Mamlukatul Arabiya to Saudiya, their authority. So we have no choice. Few years ago, there was no law like this. So the law and rules are changed time to time. Once they change, we have no option. We do not own al-Masjid al-Haram. The people who taking care, custodian, al-Khadim, Haramain al-Sharifain, Malik Salman, the King Salman, the king, present king, and his associate partner, who are the authority of this masjid. So they impose the law. Why we have no business to understand why they restricted this and that, we do not know. But the bottom line is to mislead other person, to break the rule, it is not recommended to do so, because this is a holy place. You have to be respecting the law. They can cut hair each other, because if a woman who is still in ihram, she did not cut her hair, now can she cut another woman's hair? Absolutely yes, because the cutting hair is forbidden when you are state ihram for yourself, not other people. That's the thing. It's helping each other. So if you are making umrah, you are almost at the end. So you can cut each other. It's like a hajj. I give an example to understand this misunderstanding, then you will be fine. For example, hajj. When Hujjaz, they stone the Jamarat in the 10th of Hijjah, then one Hajj shave other head. So he violating anything? So who will do the first? This is very, very unfortunate not to understand the ibadat. Helping each other is not a violation. This helping is very old and known. So when a 10th Hijjah person who finished the stoning in Jamarat, so two guys, like both are men, so one take the razor and shape other's head when he did not had shaven. What's the problem? It's not a problem, because he's helping. So same like two female, if one cut others, that's fine, as long as she is not doing anything wrong during ihram. That's the mistake. But it is at the end of the manasik, which is the after ihram, then tawaf, then sa'yu, and then haircut. In that stage, helping each other, there's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. Okay, yes, we learned new law from lecture. No, actually, I am not giving the law here. This is not my purpose to describe a law of Saudi Arabia. I'm just describing in English phrase that when we come to America, what is the visa dictate? Violating the American law? Like an immigrant who is coming, or tourist coming from different land, and he is given the visa. What is the condition? We don't read those things. Is that you will visit from Bangladesh to America and you're violating the law of America? Is it allowed? No, it's not. It's for any country. So the law is law. Now, law change. I do not know exactly how law said, but in my experience, recent days, that when we try to enter the main gate to go to the ground floor tawaf, they ask me question, are you for Umrah? I said no. Then they diverted. It's plain and simple. But now what I should do? I should not go. Now some of our brothers, they go to hotel, they change their thobe and wearing a cloth of ihram and pretend, deceit, cheating the security forces and pretend that they are making tawaf. It is a major sin, cheating. And in the Masjid al-Haram, if you make a major sin, there is a probability that that sin could be multiplied 100,000 major sin. We never know. Some scholar indicated it may. We do not know. It can. It's a very serious offense. You have to be very careful when you are in the Al-Masjid Al-Haram. It is more rewarding. At the same time, you have a responsibility to maintain the sanctity of the holy place. Why authority restricted? I don't know the whole reason. For me, it what I understand that it reduced the crowd, so people who comes from distance all over the world, they can perform tawaf very easily, very smoothly. But that's not going to happen, because the three country, unfortunately, I belongs to Bangladesh. I'm not proud of my country. I'm not. Three country. Who are they? Bangladesh, Pakistan, India. Those three countries, these people wearing a, most of them or no, but I don't know what they're doing. Morning, evening, afternoon, anytime you see them in the around the Masjid al-Haram, they're wearing the cloth. How many Umrah they are doing, I have no idea. Do they finish or do they wear? I have no idea. And those people going randomly in the ground floor, because they cannot check you, taking an interview, and then whether you did real or false or fake or cheating, that's not possible. So basically, a person who cheat disturb the other hujjah, other mu'tamir who was doing the ibadat. Okay, so that's the case. If anybody has a doubt, please ask. Please ask. And you will see, if the husband wearing the normal clothes, they stop it, the wife cannot go. That's the plain and simple. The rule apply both. Now they cannot prosecute you in the al-Masjid al-Haram. Like, do you tell lie or anything? Nobody has time to do this. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Was there separate lines for women during Tawaf, time of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? No, there was no separate line. Usually, what the Ummul Mu'minin radiyallahu anhuma, they are doing tawaf little bit distance, try to avoid the crowd for the dignity and honor for their personal position and status in the ummah. So there is no separate line. Okay, it's like a mixing all the time from the beginning up until now. Okay, so this is the one question. And can we make ihram from our home which is outside of miqat? We cannot make ihram outside of the miqat, but we can wear clothes. That's why we recommend the wearing clothes is better when you are in hotel or in your home. It's fine. Only thing, the main ihram wearing clothes does not mean it is an ihram. Wearing clothes does not constitute ihram. So we answer this. Then in Bengali language there is one person he asking question, একজনের ইবাদত যেহেতু অন্যজন করে দিতে পারে না, তাহলে বদলি হজ কেমন করে হয়, দয়া করে দলিল ও হাদিস নাম্বার দিবেন। এটি তিনি বুঝতে ভুল করেছেন। I speak in Bangla for because she asked the question Bangla, or I can give you the answer in English as well. Any ibadat which is ibadat badani, then you have to do it by your own body. Your tongue, your phonation system in your part of your body, you have to articulate them. But proxy is a package. Somebody is performing Umrah for a deceased person. So it's absolutely somebody. This is the special ibadat that a person can perform on behalf of deceased, or on behalf of person who is very old, cannot get recovery, cannot come. Somebody is doing on behalf of him. That is different. What we are saying during the tasbihat, dhikr, one's not supposed to prompt, as we discussed the last presentation, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not allow a new Muslim who does not know Suratul Fatiha in the Salah to anybody prompt. So somebody will be behind the person and who is new Muslim for maybe an hour or so, and then he will say Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, Maliki Yawmiddin. Somebody will say, no, it's not the case. He will say, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar by himself. Or he can read from the book. That's fine. Because this is ibadah badani, physical worship. You have to do it by yourself. Persistent pain, special object, lifting objects, wrist brace for Umrah, that I actually answer this thing. We need to know details. The doctor's consultation require what type of, because it's few hours. If you really cover with plaster, for example, somebody has a broken limb and he cover it, then there's no option. Then it is better to give fidya. That we are not discussing this thing. Fidya is 6 mil for 6 poor person in the area of Mecca. You can go to the McDonald's or any other the fast food restaurant in the Haram vicinity, and you will pay this. That's we are not discussing this thing. I think baby carrier, we discussed this thing. Baby carrier strapping, we should delegate this job to women. And if the man do it, use the stroller, that's better. And if not, then carry the baby with the naked arm. Um, and that's the enough we do. Jazakallahu khairan wa barakallahu fikum. If somebody wants to make a Umrah for 3 types of people, one is deceased, like a person is brother or sister or parents who passed away and no more in this dunya, then he or she can make Umrah on behalf of the deceased person. How? First Umrah he or she should do on his own. If she did it once in their life, then you should not do it. You have to do on behalf of your deceased brother, because ideally one journey you should make one Umrah. That is from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you do one Umrah in one journey, this is very good. Scholar appreciate this thing, and it is highly recommended. Now, if you want to do, is it allowed? Yes, it is allowed. You can do it after you did for yourself. So how you do so? You should go out of the miqat. The nearest place to go miqat is from Mecca. You take a taxi and go to Taif. Once you are in the Taif, then you can enter again coming back to Mecca, and on the way there will be a sign. So you will make Labbaika Umratan an Akhi, from my brother. Then you can make another Umrah, inshallah, or you can go to Medina and then coming back to Mecca again to make another Umrah possible. It is allowed. The Umrah is valid, although it is not recommended. But if somebody wants to do it, because this thing is a matter of time and privilege and ability, so person can do it for deceased person once time if he is no more in this world. The second population for whom a person can make Umrah, the extreme sick person, like a person who is so old and so sick that there is no hope for recovery. The person may have a cancer under chemotherapy. There is no hope that person will be in the full strength in near future. Then on behalf of that person, you can do an Umrah for that person who is severely ill and no hope for recovery. That's allowed. The other is for the parent only. If you have a parent who is old and who is not able to come because of their poor or they have difficulty to travel, then you can do it. That's allowed. But you have to be very careful. This thing once is done on behalf of a person, then it's done. You cannot do multiple times on behalf of someone who already did it. This is number one problem. This number two problem is if a person is poor and somebody who has no ability to travel to Mecca, and he is not your mom and dad, and he is not your immediate family member that you can do a courtesy, why you will do it? Because you should do it yourself. It's a ibadat. The more you do, you will get hasanat. The more you will be closing to the person who is poor, living in a Bangladesh. Somebody wants to do it. Ideally, you should not do, because Allah Ta'ala did not give uh, ability to travel. So why you will doing? In a special case like a mom, father, mother, immediate brother, that's some scholar allowed, and that's the thing. But only one time on behalf of absent person. Okay, and the thing is, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never did second Umrah in his lifetime. He did Umrah for 4 times in his life. One travel, one Umrah. Okay. Additional Umrah is allowed as long as you fulfill the condition of all other Shari'i condition. I think it is answered. The lady who is traveling to do an Umrah Badal on behalf of her father, she did good. Subhanallah bihamdi, she did good. She understand the deen correctly. This is, they should do it. This is what Sunnah demands, to understand your religion. Why you are doing which is not described in the book? If you want to do your mom and dad who is no more in this dunya, or they are very poor in Bangladesh as a children, you have ability to do, you can do one visit only for that person. One visit, one Umrah. That is the best. And she attained the good knowledge. We ask Allah to keep that sister in a good knowledge. She is good. We are proud of her. Her activity is example to mafhum as-sunnah. And this is what we should do.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Know Tawhid First, and press the bell icon to get new video notifications.